What is up, Comic Legion? And I'm Mark. Welcome to the Legion of Comics. This is At Week's End, episode number 21. And I'm really excited. So before we get started, let's go ahead and hit that intro and we'll bring in our. So we got a couple of really good friends here with me tonight. All the way hailing from Canada, we have our good buddy, Chris, the comic vet. What's going on, man?
Living the dream, man. How are you?
Doing good. And from that frozen winter tundra all the way on the other side of the world, we have Ryan, the new guy. Welcome.
Yeah, they really couldn't be more different places, you know?
Yeah.
The one thing I will
they're
say,
the same. Yeah.
the one thing I will say is that Letterkenny is a show that is about Texas but set in Canada, because I swear that's exactly how I grew up.
Yeah, it's incredibly popular here.
Yes.
Before we go any further, let's say hey to everybody in the chat. We have Lucretius 1971 over in New Mexico. Ruben Guzman, how's it going, brother? Dan, hope you're doing good. Slot it up. Jason, thanks for stopping by, man. We got Remy the comic book poser. Ayo. All the way from Brooklyn. We got DJ Lynx. We got Flash 6792. We got the Hefe from right here in Augusta. What's going on, brother? We got the other Remy with 1M. And we have the man himself, Burt Family 54, Burt Nasty. Wheelchair Superhero 87, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night. Austin Rains, always good to see you, buddy. We got Corey, or known as Do You Have Beans? What is up? We got to get him back on here soon. Had a blast a couple of times. He was able to hang out. The dude is a Star Wars fanatic. Had a blast talking Mandalorian with him. And we have Comics and Death Metal. What is going on? Hey. Appreciate you stopping by. And we have Shattered Glass Comic Reviews. Tyler, how are you doing? So there's a few people in the chat already. And we have our final guest that just showed up. Boom.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
How's it going, Justin?
Good. How we doing, my man?
Fantastic.
Good.
So we have three awesome panel guests here with me tonight, all of which have channels of their own. So everybody in the chat, if you haven't checked out each of these guys' channel, be sure to go give them a subscribe. Check out their content. As you know, we see Ryan on this channel a lot. Justin, you're on here a lot. Chris, this is a Comic Vet's first time on here, but if you guys watch my new Comic Book Day video, you know that me and the Comic Vet do a collab video that goes up every Sunday on his channel where we both do our hot pick of the week for different reasons, for spec reasons, just beautiful cover by reasons, story content reasons. So if you want to keep up with that, be sure to go sub him up and make sure you check those out. So without any further ado, how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
What's new with Justin Comics? You spoke first.
Oh wow! I mean, yeah. I guess I'll jump into it. No, man. I'm grateful to be here. Happy to be a part of the everything that you do throughout the week, and I always do my best to make it. But no, man. Survived the storm of Texas. Awkwardly.
Oh, we got two of y'all in there. That's right.
Yeah, I think Ryan, you're in Dallas. No,
I'm in Houston.
Houston. Okay, so am I. Awesome.
Oh wow, y'all should have held each other for warmth.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was thankfully very fortunate. I only lost power for about 2 days, and I know people that it was all week and some. So, been playing catch up with homework and just trying to get back on the grind of it all. I need to make some more content here soon. I have been making a couple videos. I just haven't posted them yet. So.
Before Steve slanders my name anymore in the comment section, what had happened was my good buddy in Belgium was bidding on a Clayton Crane Green Ranger book on eBay at the same time Steve was.
Oh, wow.
So little did they know that they were each other in that auction. And my buddy in Belgium, who's like a Power Ranger aficionado, also like a major statue collector, he just happened to win it. So Steve was trying to get this book that's going to end up coming to my house now because everything that my buddy buys comes to me and I repackage it and ship it overseas to him. But yeah, he didn't steal the book. He was outbid.
could have saved everybody a lot of money if they were communicating.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Do you have beans? Oh, yeah.
Chris, what's going
I know
on with you,
Beaumont
man?
well, too.
Well, as you mentioned earlier this morning, I released a collab video that you and I have been doing for 4 episodes now. 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks, where we make, picks, but just basically picked on whatever we want to talk about for upcoming New Comic Book Day. Tomorrow, I have a video releasing for Mystery Box Monday. I'm going to be opening up Slotted Up 503's mystery box.
Oh, nice.
And let me tell you, wow, he brought the heat. Like, I saw DJ Lynx open his box. Well, if he's watching, like, I think you may want to compare videos. Like, Jason brought the heat with these boxes. So if any one of you guys see Jay going to be releasing another series of his mystery boxes, pick it up. I had not just 1, 2, but 3 CGC slabs in my box.
Oh, wow.
He did it up. Yeah.
That's stellar. That's
Wow.
awesome.
Effie's trying to compete with my pool box size right there.
That's a good amount of money.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
So I've seen a few people open those slotted up boxes on their channels. DJ Links, Jason or Southern Comic Geek. He was the one that pulled one of the specific items that were mentioned. I don't know if you saw his video. I don't really want to say and ruin a potential surprise or not surprise for you. But yeah, I've seen a few of those videos, and they were all those are really good boxes. He put a lot of time, effort, and energy into those. And I like that he did the stickers on them instead of the numbers. I don't know why that made a difference to me, but that was cool.
Well, I don't know how someone can do a set of stickers without throwing Spider-Man in there, but, I grabbed the Captain America box and, it worked out fine, but come on, you got to put the face of the franchise up there at least.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Ryan, what's new with you, man?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just getting through all of this winter hell, So I finally got to relax today and kind of take it easy. We got water back and everything yesterday, so yeah, we did like a lot of cleaning, a lot of piled up dishes and stuff. Like, you never realize how many dishes you use until you can't really wash anything.
That's true.
So
I don't know
today
about
was pretty relaxing. I just read a lot of comics and stuff and got caught up on things.
What a day, right? What a
kept
day.
walking the corner with my flashlight, and I would turn on lights, and they wouldn't turn on. I was just like, "Damn it, man!"
I
Like,
think Ryan said that
please.
if I flip one more switch, I'm going to lose my mind.
I know, and I was just like, you know what? When it all comes back on, it's gonna be awesome.
And you know what? Once it came back on, I started just like forgetting there was light switches.
Yeah.
Like, it was on time. I started walking into rooms and just grabbing stuff in the dark.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, I could have just turned that light on.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Now, I do want to make an announcement that hopefully very soon here, Ryan and I will be making an announcement. So that's actually the announcement I'll be making tonight.
Announcement about an announcement.
A teaser for a teaser.
I'm really excited that most likely Ryan and I will be making an announcement.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've reached out to you, Ryan. I want to work with you one day. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
He's the hardest working man on YouTube. Have you seen how many content creator interviews he does all the time?
He does a lot. He really
All
does.
the
of
time.
Yeah.
Save some for the rest of us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So just get into it, man. So
Yeah.
there's a couple of books that I definitely want to make sure we talk about. And that's We Live #5, because we've kind of been on top of that one every time one's come out on this channel. And the final issue came out this week. And I've messaged with Ryan today, but we've intentionally not had this conversation yet because it's worth having on the show. So go ahead. What did you think of it, Ryan?
I thought it delivered, man. Like, I don't know, to have 5 issues that just, they're all unique to each other, but like they're also unique in the way that they're doing the storytelling and everything. Like, it's just crazy how creative this whole thing was. And there's stuff in there that, like, just, I don't know, like, it was so obvious, and yet I never saw it coming, so it's an amazing 5-issue run. And if your shop has any of them, I would go and pick them up quickly.
Very quickly. Now, I've said this before, like, as we kept going with this, I kept telling people to go back and buy them. But I definitely see this book being one of those ones that's talked about well after the run is done. That it's
Yeah.
going to, you're going to run into somebody that reads this book and they're going to know you and you're their friend. So they're going to feel obligated to tell you to go read this book. And the Miranda brothers really captured something that I haven't seen done in this way before, where every single issue is still able to surprise me. Like, I've read a lot of books, I've watched a lot of movies, I've worked at comic shops, I've worked at movie stores, and I feel like sometimes the medium can get repetitive and you can just see the patterns of stories playing over and over. They destroyed that classic narrative of storytelling with every single issue. And they just locked me in from book one. And I would have never, if you gave me 100 guesses on how this book would go, I would have never got it, would have never guessed it.
Yeah. I can't believe they ended it so shortly.
No comment.
Well, I mean, not. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing from when they announced this was the last issue all the way to the last page of this issue. And then I'm like,
yeah, it almost makes me not want to, I mean, even think about letting them go. I've been cleaning my number one. We're talking about We Only Find Them When They're Dead, right?
no, We Live.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were talking about something else. Okay, never mind.
No, We Only Find Them When They're Dead. They wrapped on theirs, right?
They wrapped their first story arc. And, I'm hoping that they do the same thing that I think we're seeing a new format, like kind of talking on that with like my LCS owner talks about this all the time. If you have a good series, don't drag it out. Do exactly what they're doing with Something Is Killing the Children. Do exactly what they're doing with We Live. And possibly, and me and Ryan touched on this, what they might be doing with We Only Find Them When They're Dead, where you get to the end of a story arc and you've told a solid story, put it on the shelf.
Yeah, no filter.
Inside of that existing world with these characters, find another story to be told. Don't beat the horse to death.
The first thing I can think of that really put that on the map with me was Bitterroot, because they're doing basically just like this, like 5-issue story arcs, and then they take a year off, and so for 5 months each year you get, but it feels like a season of these series that we get on Netflix and stuff now, so you like read those 5 issues and then you put it on the shelf, and a year later you come back and they pick up with like the second season, and that kind of feels like the best format that indies can do right now. I think it's something unique to indies that separates them from all your superhero fare, but it makes it really interesting for the reader because it feels like you're moving through the season, so it feels like you're evolving with the characters,
Yeah. As long as they don't leave a big gap like what they did with the second and third final seasons there of Game of Thrones. We're talking years and years of time gone by before we finally get that next volume. But yeah.
Well, that's more of a Jeff Johns kind of thing there. He just like forget he was right.
He does it between issues though. What are your thoughts on them taking a break and picking up like a different like time, a different story altogether, possibly different characters, Chris?
Well, I don't see anything wrong with it, as long as the label can handle it. I know, for example, Boom Studios, with Something Is Killing the Children, it seems to be one of their top 3 selling books. I'm just hoping that they can survive the lag of going 3 or 4 months without putting out, arguably their top 3 book and all its variants with it as well. But I'm sure Berserker is going to help fill in that gap.
It's going to be a killer book.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing with Boom right now is like, we all, a year ago, 2 years ago, we were all talking about how if Image drops a number 1, you buy it. Doesn't even matter, just buy it. And that's kind of where Boom has become this last year or so. And so I do think they can survive it because even if they don't have something drawing you into the store, if you're there, you're going to pick up anything that comes out from Boom that has a number 1 on it. So there's a good chance they have another sleeper hit in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
But to answer your question, Mark, yeah, I personally don't have a problem with a stopgap, but I feel if you take more than 6 months at that point, you may have some sort of change. If COVID starts to die down a bit, some of these people that are almost just like, riding the wave of comic books, once their lives get back to normal, if it does get back to normal, they may kind of drop off with comic books. And then when that second volume or third volume returns, they're going to be missing out. That's why I don't really want to see such a large stopgap between volumes. But I don't want to keep beating the something is killing the children drum. But the fact that they're doing it for just 3 months, I believe, I think that's just perfect. Give JT enough time to start focusing on some of his other titles that he has going on, and try and pick up that Batman title a little bit too.
Yeah, I have not been impressed with his Batman run. Like, he's done some cool things. Like, the characters he introduced, I like, but I'm not beholden to him writing them necessarily. It's just that they're cool character concepts that we haven't even seen fleshed out at all yet. They've just been introductions of characters, and he completely dropped the ball on Batman going into the little timeout before Future State. And I think that a lot of these companies, including DC, because I know Austin's been waiting on us to get to DC, but they had a lot of success with the Black Label stuff that were limited runs. They had a specific count, and people can go into them knowing that I only need to pick up this many issues if it's good. It's not a huge investment, standalone story, so you're not bogged down in continuity. And that's not necessarily a bad formula to try out. They were successful there. You see them getting ready to work on more of that moving forward with the DC titles. Like, right out the gate, they're already introducing some limited series that are going to be like front-running titles in Infinite Frontier. So maybe other companies are going to start doing that as well, and we'll see more of that. Series like Kanto, they already have done that, haven't they?
Yeah, they did like Kanto 2, Kanto. Like, I don't think there's a 3 yet, but I think that's how it goes.
There's ever been some one-shots with Kanto too, hasn't there?
They might have had a one-shot. I can tell you again, Bitterroot, they did 5 issues, and then they did a one-shot in the mid, like interim. So they were able to bring in a one-shot to kind of get some attention again about halfway through their break, and then they did the second run. And all 3 of those, read it through it, like, it's so great the way it goes from season to season, plus that little filler in between.
But about the Black Label, like, how great is the Constantine and Joker Harley Quinn title? Like,
the Criminal Sanity has been amazing.
It's been so good. So good.
Having Miko Suyon on interiors, and they're smart enough to leave it black and white. Do you remember that Silver Surfer cover that Miko did with Thor reflecting on him? It was a store exclusive. It was insane. And then when they released the black and white, people went nuts over it, and it sold out like that. But have full Miko interiors, and they're doing it like a true crime story, and it's like a retelling, but in no way is it similar to any origin we've seen. But dude, that has been an amazing, amazing book. And having it in prestige format where the art has room to actually shine, oh, it's been good. I'm surprised more people haven't been reading that.
Yeah, I don't know. I passed on most of the Black Label stuff. Just
there's like 2
Catwoman, right?
Black Label.
Yes.
So I know at least 3 of us read this one. So I definitely want to get some thoughts on this, because I know a lot of people are not Tom King fans because of his time on Batman. He started strong, and then he kind of lost most of the people. And again, I honestly think that writers do better on limited runs when they have specific amount of time to tell their story versus having to clock in story after story. So what are your thoughts on that one, Justin?
I think that's a really good example. I mean, they're able to just pour in so much, and they don't have to worry about an extra book here or there, or a silly little story that like still needs to hit hard and make some sales. Like, if we're looking at Batman and Catwoman, it's just like there's just no filler, there's no nothing. The artwork's beautiful. It's the covers are amazing. I went with a variant cover on number 3, and I'm just so impressed with it. I mean, each book just continues to get a little bit better for me. I really didn't see that, because I tried really hard not to read ahead on any of this. I wanted to be completely surprised about it. And I loved the use in adding the daughter in, and her suit was awesome. What they're focusing on was awesome. And I don't want to spoil too much.
Oh, no, spoil away. Spoiler-filled show.
Yes,
It's in the description. And
then being that it's a Black Label, they're actually able to make Selena sexy how she should be. So it's just an awesome read.
feel like I heard that here recently from somebody.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's been a common compliment about this book.
Yeah.
Clayman's art, like he is such a fantastic artist.
right.
He
Yeah,
knows how
no,
to draw.
I was really pleased with the book. I think the fourth is gonna be an um, awesome cover as well next month. And I sent number one to CGC,
Oh, nice.
like 2 weeks ago, and I know it'll be a 9.8, but I'm hoping for a little bit more because I pressed and cleaned it and it didn't even need it.
So I know that when this first came out, I was kind of having to defend this book to a lot of people that read it because
Right.
I read a lot of Tom King stuff.
Right.
And the way that he formatted this with there's three different distinct timelines going on. You know, you have like a mild flashback, you have a timeline with Catwoman and Batwoman together. Then you have Selena and Joker when they're really old. And that just apparently confused a lot of people and they just didn't really care for it. But now that we're 3 issues in, you're starting to see it all weave together nicely. You know?
Yeah, it's like if you couldn't watch WandaVision episode 2, you'd probably be a little bit upset. But I mean, you have to get to book 3 to understand everything that they're doing. I mean,
and not just that, it makes all that little nuances of the conversations that you had no context for. You're getting it.
right,
I said it from the beginning. That's what I like about these Tom King series, Strange Adventures, Mr. Miracle, this, all great examples of how me as the reader, I get to discover the story with the characters in the book. I don't have any extra information that they don't have because I'm the reader. It's just absolutely enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I mean, I someone else can definitely chime in, but from what I took from it is when are we calling, is she Batgirl? What is she?
I just went with Batgirl for now because I don't feel
Batgirl.
like they really told us what we're supposed to call her.
Right. So I'll just do Batgirl, and she lied to her mom at the very end, right? I mean, that's what I took from it because she did find some piece of evidence. So that alone is just so interesting to see where they're going to go with it further. It's just she's willing to even lie to her mom, which should be a safe haven as far as information and so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with book 4.
Yeah,
Selena's lying right back.
I really love the
that's true,
turn.
too.
I really love the turn that they made in this one because, they made the story in the first 2 was really about Selena killing the Joker and why she did, and then that just kind of ended at the end of the second one. Like, he's dead.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the way that they turn the story, and it's about something else now. It's about this relationship between her and her daughter, and how is that story going to play out? And I don't know. Like, I mean, it's just such a genius little family drama because she's a master thief and a master liar. And so what kind of talent and skills does her daughter have? And it creates very much the situation where they're having these conversations where it's all in between the lines. They're not saying anything honest between the two of them, but they're giving you all kinds of information, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of genius the way that he turned this from a revenge story and the end of the Joker to turn it into like the craziest family drama I can imagine.
Yeah, that's true. Now this is going to be 6 books, right?
12.
12? Okay. I wonder what else.
It gives it away at the very beginning when you look.
All the
In
lights.
issue 1, it shows you a house with 12 distinct windows, and each issue, your next one's lit up.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the middle ones.
I thought it was really cool how King is paying some attention to DC lore a little bit with having Helena, their daughter. I don't know if y'all remember the Birds of Prey TV show from the late 90s with Ashley Scott and stuff. But
I remember
Helena,
they existed, but I never watched it.
Oh, it was fun, man. It was a weird time era, but it was fun. But Helena was the main Batman. Catwoman's daughter was the main star of it, and it was cool seeing Dick as the commissioner of Gotham.
That was cool.
And I mean, that's one of the coolest things. It's Black Label has a lot going for it because they can like age everything up and stuff. I think part of the genius there, though, is that there is no like continuity it's tied to, and so Tom King is actually right now Batcat. It feels like I don't know, just like the Power Ranger comics. Like, I feel like Kyle Higgins didn't like, he kind of aged up the Power Rangers, but what he did is he wrote a comic that felt like what the show felt like to us as kids. It played on that nostalgia factor a lot. And I feel like that's the same thing that they're doing in Bat-Cat. It feels like, it feels like a sequel to Batman the Animated Series. Like, I read a lot of those character voices in the animated series voices. A lot of the suit that Batman wears a lot of times looks kind of like how I could see a more realistic rendering of the suit from the animated series. So to me, in some ways, this feels like more of a spiritual successor to the animated series than even the Adventures Continues that they're doing right now.
It's a good take.
I'm pumped for issue 4.
Yeah.
You see the plot starting to fall out. And at this point, the way it ended, is Catwoman a little crazy? Is she losing her mind? That little last scene with her breaking into the safe and stealing diamonds, but seeing it as the Joker giving her the diamonds, and
how crazy was that?
He was smushed in there, and she even sees his outfit is all dollar bills and stuff.
I would love to have that picture or that page.
Yes.
Slabbed.
That'd be cool. And so, like, in classic fashion, he's going to give you answers to like 3 out of 10 of the questions that you have, while he's laying out at least 5 more questions, and he's going to keep weaving them in. And I enjoy that. I don't necessarily need this heavy of a read for all of my titles across the board, but dude, sprinkle them in. It just makes my pool list feel so much more balanced.
Yeah, it's going to be an insanely heavy ending, I bet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like this is like, once I just kind of let go, like after that first issue, I was like, I have no clue what's going on, but I'm in for the ride. Once I got to that point, like 2 and 3 have just completely swept me away. I mean, amazing stuff in here. It's crazy how good it is.
Yeah.
It almost makes me want to go back and try to read all the Tom King stuff that people hate.
It wasn't that bad.
I highly recommend Mr. Miracle and Strange Adventures both. And the Vision has got nothing but high praises as well. But dude, they're all like mental twist thrill rides, every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew what I was getting into going into this. I wasn't expecting anything less than he's delivering exactly what I was hoping to see in the format and the style. And the fact that a lot of people, when it was going into it, are like, oh, maybe we'll see him kind of cap off his run where we saw Batman and Catwoman getting ready to get married, and it just didn't happen. Well, it looks like in this, he's actually setting up to see why it never should have happened, with that level of distrust and the behind the back lying and everything. And he's just deconstructing his own run on Batman, where it makes you wonder how much of his run on Batman was his decisions. A lot of these writers aren't writing their own stories. They're being told a direction to go, and they're being forced to tell someone else's narrative. So that being the case, like seeing them on these limited runs, you're seeing what their actual take is versus them just regurgitating AT&T's take or DC's take on it. And, it goes the same way for all the other big companies as well. But it's just this has just been really cool. And having the Phantasm in it has been great. Like just slashing and destroying people. Came for the wrong one, though, in this issue. Selena was ready.
That was really cool. What is the phrase she uses whenever she shows up? It reminds me of like the first seasons of Arrow.
Angel of Death has come for you.
Yeah. That always reminds me of whenever Oliver Queen would show up in the first. There you go. I was like, oh man, that's exactly how I read it.
That's awesome.
The Angel of Death has come for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or your Angel of Death.
Yeah, it says your Angel of Death awaits.
Awaits, yeah. That's a cool, man. That's trippy.
And Selena said, tell that to keep waiting or something. Just cut her off.
Sorry to keep him waiting. Yeah. That was man, I don't know. I'm excited for 4. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I don't really care. I just want to read it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that way about a lot of things.
I'm very happy that it was received well by you. I knew that I had a good feeling Justin would enjoy it. There's a lot of DC stuff that we both read that I kind of got an idea for his style.
There's not a book that you and I have ever really disagreed on.
Mm-mm. I think that the biggest difference of opinion we had was on 3 Jokers, which I conceded was just because of my expectations going into it. I had him in the wrong place, but being able to sit on that for a while, I could see where it was a well-written book. It was just, it wasn't this cosmic level multiverse explanation that I was looking for, being 4 years in the wait.
Yeah, I fell in love with the ending as far as them and the car together. Just that writing and that illustration for me, that's what I was like, man, this is a good story.
Yeah.
It's because I mean you have way more knowledge on Batman than I do, so I can see why you'd be a little bit upset.
Well, it hindered me in that aspect, because one of my favorite things, and the reason why I enjoy doing the YouTube thing, is just to do what we're doing now, just connect and literally just talk these books and like talk about where I can picture them going and this and that. When I have 4 years to picture where something is going, I didn't just picture where it was going. I had written out the perfect story in my head at that point.
Sure.
It existed for years in my head, and then it just comes through and just. But Chris, I know you didn't get a chance to read a lot of this week's books, but you have been keeping up with certain Future State books.
I have.
Which ones have been?
Dark Detective, come on. Like, I know everyone's going to argue, well, this book is better, but the one common denominator that everyone can talk about is how great Dark Detective actually is.
No one was ready for that.
I was not ready for that. I don't know how many times I've said in my last few videos that I'm simply blown away by Future State. The quality of the writing, my God. Like, can we not get these writers just on the regular titles straight up normally? And just let them have free will. It again, like you mentioned earlier, that a lot of these writers do seem to have puppet strings kind of controlling them, whether it's whether it's the editor or even higher up. But Future State just seems to be this little bit of a clean slate where they can do what they want, even as long as it kind of connects to another title, they can do what they want. And Dark Detective for me is one is hitting the home run. But with that being said, of course, I'm more of a Superman fan when it comes to DC, so I'm looking forward to the House of L.
Really looking forward to it. Have you read Worlds at War Superman stuff?
I picked them up. I'm waiting for them to finish. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. The last one just came out this week.
Yep.
So House of L is a direct continuation for it. So even though there's 2 issues, we've been seeing that happen. Like with Flash 1 and 2, it took us to Teen Titans 1 and 2, which took us to Shazam 1 and 2, which is taking us to Black Adam, which is a backup story in Suicide Squad. So Black Adam, you're going to need to get Suicide Squad to cap off that. But the way that Worlds at War, and it said, go read House of L, which I was wondering about when I did the new Comic Book Day video that included that, because I didn't see issue 2 down the road, and it's an oversized book. It's a $5.99 price tag, and I didn't see backup stories in it either. And I was wondering why they went so content light on Clark for this event, but it looks like they didn't. Because I'm not going to spoil anything, but you see how it ends this week in Immortal Wonder Woman, where you see House of L-esque Clark appearing in the End of Time story with Wonder Woman. So it's going to be cool to get that little House of L time bridge right there.
Yeah, I really, kind of what we were talking about. You think about like the movie Joker, right? Like, Marvel with their movies, they kind of set off this whole idea that everything should always be connected, and that trickled down into everything, books, comics. Suddenly we want these long series of novels. Stephen King needs to connect everything with the cowboy movie, like it became a fad. And I think like Dark Tower, there you go.
Yeah.
And I think like Joker kind of reversed that opinion and showed them that like maybe independence does work in a certain way. And then I think they launched the Black Label and it just exploded. I don't think they were ready for it to be as successful comparatively to their regular titles as it was, And so I think that's kind of what Future State has been in a way, is them trying to find a good mix of like not being so bogged down and tied to continuity and how to kind of filter that in, but still keep it in their main line somehow. And so I think overall the success of Future State, I really want to see some of these writers and some of these ideas stick around. I want to see them do more. This would be a fun story, so let's tell it. Who cares if it's connected to everything else,
Oh man, the ending of Teen Titans. I texted Mark as I was reading the last word. It's like, bro, finish it.
God, yeah. Did you read it? I'm like, I'm at work. Give me a minute. I'll find time. And I did.
Yep.
Man, that was me when I read Batman Catwoman 3. I was like, oh my God, like, dude, did you read this? And he's like, no, I haven't got to. I'm like, oh man, come on.
Normally I'm
Even
quick with them, but this week, man, I've just been crazy.
cat.
But I was able to sit down. Yeah, my daughter's birthday is today, so we did her party yesterday and just working and setting all that up. I was able today, like we intentionally did it on Saturday, so we'd have today to recoup and rest. So I was able just to sit around all day and actually get on Instagram and try to meet some new people and connect and read and work on videos for next week. It has been an amazing day just getting to just chug through books, and everyone deserves a day like that every now and then where, kids are just acting right for you. I say that right now, but my son is tiptoeing in elf pajamas. I can see you instead of being in bed right now.
So what's your theory on Red X from the end of Teen Titans? Who is it?
Ooh, that's a good
Dude,
one.
I absolutely hope it's Clown Hunter. Absolutely hope, because he deserves a proper place in DC, and walking around in his cool ragtag suit is not it at all. Like, that's a good way that you find a kid. That's like keeping Jason Todd in his homeless boy clothes that he was trying to steal the hubcaps off the Batmobile. You don't do it. You give him some clean clothes. You buy him a cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of worked well for Casey Jones and Miles Morales.
That's a big suit to give him, though.
Yeah.
The Red X.
Yeah,
But it's cool
but it's
too
nobody's
because,
actual suit though, so it's
because it legitimizes Red X in the universe as well as Balfam. So it would be kind of a cool way to tie it all together.
Yeah. Is that a theory, Mark? Or you like you?
That's absolutely a theory. I will never confirm nor deny anything in the future on this channel.
That's awesome.
But I'm hoping it's him because, like you said, it legitimizes a lot. Because who wore Red X stuff? It was the Robins. What do we do when we need to reform our teenagers in the DC universe? You send them to the Teen Titans because you're not going to listen to your superiors. You're going to listen to your peers, and that's where he has Dick Grayson, who's gone through it, who like heads all that up, who has that bond with these people. He sent Damian there already. And I don't know if y'all read the other history of the DC universe, but in that, Bumblebee was criticizing Superman for keeping Kara by his wayside and trying to keep her under lock and thumb because in Bumblebee's opinion, Superman didn't want her ruining his image, which I really dislike that issue too. They're just crapping on superheroes the whole book. It was horrible. But she made the comment, why didn't he just send Kara to the Teen Titans? So it's known by the characters, by writers, just all through that that's where you go. And if you need Val to listen to somebody, you already see him looking for help. In the Batman Annual, on his own, he reached out to find help, but he refused to go to Batman. He went to that local counselor lady who's in the slums just trying to get back to the community. And Batman already knew that he would find his way there because he would not yield to Batman. Because he has that grudge against Batman just like Jason Todd did. Why is Joker still killing people? Now my family's the victim. You're not doing enough. So Batman's working every angle he can, and he's going to find his way there regardless. So it just makes sense. It makes really sense because, like, even Val not wanting to let go and admit that Batman's right, putting on the Red X suit is kind of legitimizing as a Robin, as a Ward in a way, without Val having to say, I give in, I submit to Batman.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect.
What's that going to do to Clown Hunter's first appearance spec-wise when it comes to value? Now, that particular book, is it Batman 97 was his first appearance?
96. And I'll go ahead and say it. I went ahead and got that book right here as well as his origin. That'll be part of my 500 subscriber giveaway.
Right. So if it comes out where he is the Red X, will that particular issue start to climb or continue to climb steadily? Or will the Teen Titans cover B with him or with the mask and the Red X individually start to climb?
Well, both of them should, because you now have the first appearance of Balfam, and then you have the first appearance of Balfam as Red X, just like you have with like numerous characters where you get, their first appearance like this person and that person. So no matter what, that's the first appearance of Clown Hunter,
See, are we going to see it kind of like the whole Cletus Cassidy versus First Carnage appearance, where or ASM 361 has gone through the roof, and then it's kind of dragging the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy along long term, because let's agree, Red X is going to be around for a long time. regardless of what happens, because of how much heat that's been bestowed on the character in the last 2 or 3 months.
I think another great example, maybe even more accurate in keeping it relevant, would be Monica Rambeau's appearances in comic, because you have her who appeared as Captain Marvel in the Spider-Man annual first, and then you had her appear in Avengers Unchained as Photon for the first time. So she changed characters, giving her numerous key issues, but which one is her big value one, which is Spider-Man annual. So you never know how the market is going to play things. You know, Hulk 180 is always going to be the lower of the two Hulk Wolverine appearances. But using that same format, go to Tales to Astonish. The first appearance of the leader is Tales to Astonish 62, where it's the exact one panel, last page, one thought bubble, spoken by him, where he says his own name. Credited first appearance, with Wolverine credited cameo. So there's no logic applied to it. So all you can do is buy them all. Just buy them all.
See,
and the variant covers. Sorry.
See, this is where my beef with the spec market comes into play, though, is like, why would you want the first appearance of Clown Hunter or Balfam? Because, like, he really is just an interesting, unexplained background character for most of all of that. To me, what should be valuable is the annual, the book that actually defined him as a character and made him into something more than just a throwaway, you know? Yeah, like I don't understand why the spec market gets so hype over little appearances when there's things that actually define that character that should be more valuable.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't just make a little appearance. He quite literally came out swinging with a battering bat that he was plugging in people's heads.
Yeah.
So he came out. He made a big splash when he came out.
He made a splash, but I don't think it substantially defined his character.
Or a splatter. And if you think about it, that annual probably has a lower print run than the Batman book. You know, annuals don't traditionally sell as many as actual issues. But I think if we're talking Batman specifically, you know, that's another character that suffers from long-term fatigue, where we've seen the same. He has such a huge rogues gallery because he's been around so long. But even with that being so big, they've been used over and over and over. And I mentioned it recently on a video I just recorded, but we're about to see him fight Scarecrow in right after Future State Batman 106. Scarecrow is the epitome of a villain that Batman does not need. He's a scientist who specializes in fear. Batman comes automatically smarter, and he's more specialized in fear. So you're literally pointless. You come into the game being what Batman already does better, and that's what I had a problem with Ghostmaker with. But I do think it's cool that Tynan's introducing new characters because we have the same ones beat to death. But if you don't kind of beat like those stereotypes, like Ghostmaker is a stereotype, and he's worthless in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I think he's he's okay.
I think they kind of missed the mark with him. I don't think he sticks around. I think whoever takes over Batman after Tynion is Ghostmaker will not stick around beyond that.
I hope not. Like, why do you need Ghostmaker if you take Batman and do him worse and then mix a little bit of Barbara Gordon, possibly better, with the style of Red Hood, you get Ghostmaker. There's nothing original about him. He's an amalgam of existing Bat family characters. We don't need him.
Yeah.
Maybe Scarecrow will kill him. That would be cool. Like, I even mentioned that before too. Like, building somebody up to actually kill him and make a meaningful death in comics doesn't happen often. Like, Marvel has been like the only actual meaningful death in all of comics. So if you want to kill somebody, and I even mentioned this about Power Ranger titles with them introducing the new Green Ranger with Matthew Cook. Like, he has a long standing in the Boom comic. Fans like him. If you ever want to kill a Power Ranger in those comics, which those comics are not lighthearted, they're actually meant for the people who grew up with Power Rangers, not for the kids. So if you want to kill somebody and make it meaningful, you can't kill an OG cast member. It just won't work. You'll lose readers. Every one of those individual Rangers comes with a specific fan base. So you build a new character, and now you have someone expendable that us as the readers get to worry about. Now we feel like we actually have to wonder what's going to happen with some of these people. They should do that with Bao. And I love him. I don't necessarily want to see him die, but I want to see the comics get to that point where I'm worried, is this person going to survive or not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely fear of death needs to be there.
Yeah, I think that's what makes indies so great right now is like whenever you're introduced to a new world with new characters, you don't know what the rules are, and people can and may die. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna read that
No
tomorrow.
rules.
no rules. Yeah,
I never saw that one until y'all brought it up. I don't know why.
Which one? We Live?
Yeah, I need to.
Oh my God, go get it.
yeah,
This is on Murder Falcon level with experience of reading this book. Like
yeah.
that, you know how bold of a statement that is, but
Yeah.
just the absolute shock and awe value, how you're not prepared for a story told this good, there's no chance of guessing the direction, and the artwork is equally as beautiful. It was an experience reading that. It was an absolute pleasure and a delight. And I'm so sorry for anyone who didn't read it.
I will definitely check it out now.
I tell you, man. Like, do you remember comics like 2 or 3 years ago? You know, like Image was a comic. Like Image, a #1, you bought it no matter what. And Boom Studios was starting to really get some traction. They were starting to make moves. They were getting real consistent all of a sudden, you know? And then you fast forward like 2 to 3 years and you see like Image is just like this monolith that we believe in now, and Boom has become what Image was then. And I'm starting to feel a lot of the same things that I felt about Boom then. I'm feeling that from Aftershock. Like you look back about like 6 to 9 months, they started doing this real consistent graphic design work across all their titles. All the like credits pages and stuff are the same in every Aftershock book. All of a sudden, they all navigate the same way. Like they've started coming out with stuff that has a lot of quality and consistency to it. And so I think like in another 2 to 3 years, we're going to be looking at Aftershock like we're looking at Boom today. It's going to be
talking on some industry speculation. Chris, how much do you think the success of all these independent companies has been based on this COVID boom in collection? And do you think it's going to hold once the markets open wide back up nationwide?
Oh, I hope it's sustainable. I think COVID's had a lot to do with the big independent push of the last 12 months for sure. And especially people looking for something to do now that they have all this free money because they can't go out and spend it on trips, cars, whatever. They've been playing into comic books and first getting into the spec part of it, picking up grails, and all of a sudden now they're finding out there was actually some really good stuff out there. Stuff that may have caught their attention the way The Walking Dead would have numerous years ago, the way that just exploded. But to touch on what Ryan was saying, personally, I think AWA Upshot is another one of those small publishers that's going to kind of pop right now. The Curry Andrews title that's going on right now was Erratic. I've been having a lot of fun reading that book. I don't know if you guys have been reading it or not, but just this teenage. Yeah, it's actually
very Spider-Man. Yeah.
Well, Curry Andrews does have that tie to Spider-Man, but it's really fun. Now I might be jaded because I am a Spider-Man fan, but for the kid to have 15 minutes and do what he can with this superpower before it simply runs out, and then actually being caught in the wrong place when it does run out, it's drawn me into picking up other titles that this publisher has been doing. But to answer your question, Mark, I really hope that the independent scene, other than what seems to be the big two right now, gets to carry on after COVID, God willing, passes.
I'm worried about a micro bubble because, not just the being at home with money that you're not able to go out and spend. The first in our time era, the first means of entertainment when sitting at home is television and movies. No one's been making new stuff. We're just now getting new stuff. And like even movies that probably wouldn't see any dollars in a normal market are crushing it on streaming platforms because nobody's seen anything new for a while. So not having that, they've been looking to read stuff, and you have a lot of people that need to be making money who weren't able to work and their finances were not going to get them through, and buying and selling stuff. And, bartering is the oldest fashioned way of making money. I've got this and you want it, but you got that and I need it. So let's do it. That's just that secondary market is insane. And I'm a little bit concerned that some of the smaller places that are getting enough steam to do second, like follow-ups and stuff and bring new titles out, like possibly Aftershock, places like Ablaze, Antarctic Press, those things that are even getting traction, there might be a little micro bubble inside of there that these people that are investing in books are really spreading it out. And when they go back to work, they're going to tighten that up or stop altogether. Those are going to be the first ones
Ratio
people will
variance.
stop. No,
Yeah.
ratio variance. God, they've been around
That's
before this, though, but man.
Yeah, but the amount of ratios they've been doing has exploded because people will pour money into anything that's rarer than just regular stuff, you know? And so I think that's going to be a big part of the micro bubble that we see.
Let me ask you guys a question individually. Would Peach Momoko be as popular what she is right now if it wasn't for COVID happening?
Why?
Yes.
If you want to talk about variants showing
Oh,
up
just
like that,
oh yeah, that's true. A lot of her
Yes.
work is variants. Yeah.
Dude,
Like,
that's an absolute flavor of the month thing. It happened with Art Germ. It happens with like you bring a new artist on the scene and just let that secondary market the secondary market. There's like this little microcosm inside of it that trades, buys, and sells amongst each other. And as soon as they can create their own little traction on something, it creates that little heat bubble between them, and the books just circulate until she's done 50 covers for every company, this and that. Before she even starts her exclusive contract with Marvel, she's already ran flat now. No one is chasing her stuff already like they were when she first came out.
I'll be honest. There's been a couple covers that she's done where I was kind of like, oh, that's really good, But when I first took notice of her is when COVID hit really hard last spring, and that Star Wars book got released with Yoda on the cover. I believe it was a Frankie's cover exclusive. That's what first got my attention, and then she had a couple other covers, and I just thought, like, this is not for me. Why in the world is this exploding? And then over time, thought about it. If COVID didn't happen, would she be as popular as what she is? Because literally that month, everyone was stuck at home, and then this Star Wars book was released, and then before it was actually put onto the market, it was a multi-$100 book. And top it all off, being American, it was like $1,000 Canadian. But anyway.
Ryan made a good point a while back about Peach that I'm a little bit older and I wasn't really into anime as much, but there's a lot of people younger than myself. Like the amount of people younger than me that enjoy anime is way higher than the people that are my age growing up that enjoyed anime. So there's a lot more people that enjoy that style of art. So, and who was it? Small Time Collectibles did an interview with DJ Links, and there was something said on there that just haunts me, and it's so true. And this was a while back now, but he made the comment to DJ that I've aged out of most Marvel books, but that's okay. They're not writing them for me. They're writing them for the younger generation who's going to continue reading them beyond. Right. And he's found other books that catch his interest. And as I dislike stuff for reasons I can't even explain, like why doesn't that appeal to me? That just goes back to me. It's not for me. It's for this younger crowd. And as long as they keep spending the money on it, they're going to keep following the money and gearing stuff toward that crowd.
Yeah, it's absolutely right.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like everything, it comes and goes, waxes and wanes. You see stuff like, I remember when DC was like, what everybody was buying, their events were just like knocking it out of the park, and nobody was really talking about Marvel. Then Donny Cates started like making all these rumblings around with Venom, and then Thor came along, and then King of Black, and now nobody's talking about what DC is really doing until Future State feels like the first time in a while that DC's kind of starting to get that traction, and we're seeing people kind of turn away from King and Black and the big events like that. People are complaining more than ever about all the tie-ins, and so I think we're about to see DC launch Infinite Frontier to like pretty awesome success, because it feels like people are kind of getting tired of the Marvel style, and we're going to move over to DC. And in the future, I could see at the end of the year Marvel pulling it back, but it comes and goes. We'll see what they do.
That's just the nature of it. Like you said, waxes and wanes, or the ebbs and flows of it. We have short attention spans, and people at Marvel, they've been building up this Marvel thing and waiting for a couple of years now to get to King and Black, and when it's here, that's all that people really been tracking. Of course, people read other stuff, but the overwhelming majority are just tracking King and Black really, really close. That's where they got all their, all their eggs in the basket, or all their baskets in one, whatever the phrase is.
All their eggs in a basket.
Yeah, maybe that's
all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why would you put all your eggs
in one basket? Exactly. That's what it's supposed to be.
It's like when you start dating a girl, you just throw all your attention to that one thing.
Yeah, and you stop paying attention to everything else. But when that's over with, where are you left standing? When King in Black is over with, they don't have an event 4 years in the making that's been building up this steam. They're going to be right back where they were right before event, and people are going to be looking for something new. And it's timing out right at a jump on point at DC. I don't think that's an accident.
See, but Hefe's latest comment here, that's the thing is like Empire, when that came out, people just like King in Black, people were all about Empire. About halfway through the event, all of a sudden everybody turned and soured on it, and they started paying more attention to Marvel and Venom. And now we're seeing King in Black, we're about halfway through it, and it's like, okay, well, where's all the substance to it, you know? I mean, we're starting to pay attention to this new Infinite Frontier launch that DC's putting together. So you see it go back and forth a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Let's not forget about Empire as well, how bad that was.
It was horrible. Did I actually read the main series just because I wanted just something more?
Or pardon me, X of Swords, Ten of Swords. Sorry, right? Yeah, Ten of Swords. Oh, it was just, yeah. I don't know what's going on with the X-Men, the whole mutant thing. It's just, I get that they went out and got themselves a fantastic writer, and he's trying to weave it all together. But I kind of feel if you're not there from it with that particular story, if you weren't there from issue 1 that he first wrote, you're going to be lost all the way through. But with that being said, the Wolverine solo title has been actually really, really great too. But yeah, Ten of
Have
Swords,
you read
X
the
of
Black,
Swords.
White, and the Black, White, and Blood also?
I'm waiting for it to finish, so I have all of the collective issues together, then read it start to finish.
Now, is that your normal reading style for
a
like
limited series?
miniseries?
Yes. Yeah.
That's really smart. There's certain books like, dude, we only find them when they're dead work better like that. Firepower, that's really the only way it could possibly work. And yeah, there's just
I can't
obviously
have you say anything
monthlies
bad about
are-
Firepower, though, man.
I eviscerated that book lately.
It's Robert Kirkman's definitely anti-Robert Kirkman, kind of book. But
I feel like he's literally writing the script and storyboards for TV show episodes, and that's not how you write a comic. He's really just trying to get Walking Dead out from under him. He's so sick of it.
Yeah,
I
can
know
appreciate that.
a lot of people know who the channel Comic Tropes is. One of the most informative, most enjoyable YouTube channels that's ever existed. And his name is Chris also, and he actually knows Robert Kirkman, so he's been on his channel and he's done like 3-part interviews. And Chris asked him in one of the interviews about the upcoming series that's going right now, and he just rolled his eyes. Like he's just ready for something else he does to be as enjoyable as Walking Dead used to be for him. It's just
Yeah. Well, see that interview, and then the letters page from I think it's the Free Comic Book Day issue of the first issue. When he talks about like, I just like new stuff, and that's how I feel too. Like you start a new project and you're just like crafting and creating, and you're all in it, and it's awesome, and then you get so far, and it's just like, okay, now I'm bored of this. I want to move on. Yeah, I said the same. Like that's exactly how I've been feeling about it. And so I agree with Kirkman there, is like, I like new stuff. So like, why should he have to write 300 issues of Walking Dead? If it's boring for him, then you're going to feel that as the reader. You'll be like, yeah, I'm bored with it too. It comes through. So let's do new things. Let's do different things. Let's try new series,
Dude, if they would just invest their time, effort, and energy in Solid Blood, oh my God, that one shot that they did, there was a callback to the old concepts that never happened before he landed on Walking Dead. That Solid Blood book, that was something that could be like absolutely popular and work well now and this time. I don't think that would have worked well in 2002. It's just too out there, but that would definitely work now.
That's the other thing I like about Kirkman is like he's excited to try new things, not just like create a new series, but like try new things with distribution and he's always giving back. He's always trying to help the stores, but at the same time, like it's really cool that he thought, let's just go ahead and do like a one-shot OGN to establish the world that Firepower is going to take place in. Let's do number 1 as a Free Comic Book Day issue so everybody gets it, and then they'll want to go back and get the graphic novel, and that's money. That's a $10-15 book. And then they're going to stick on for the series because they read those two things, So I love that he's trying new things with like trying to incentivize the customer and really give you more bang for your buck. I don't think he hits everything out of the park, but I think he throws a lot of ideas and they're worth paying attention to.
I don't know if that's a question about it, but Solid Blood was this. What was the YouTube video, Ryan? Do you remember what it was called or how to find it?
It's the only video on the Robert Kirkman YouTube channel.
Like he posted this random YouTube video playing into it to kind of hype it up and push it. He's like, dude, we just got a call from our distribution website, and they found this old box sitting in there, and it's of Solid Blood issue 17. So before Walking Dead and the character Michonne appeared in there, he tried numerous times to get a book made, different books, but Michonne was always in those books, not the zombie toting girl, but her character was a character existed in those worlds. He really liked that character. And this is the book that is actually one of the attempts that never happened. And instead of doing issue 1 of that book, it's issue 17, and it starts with Michonne dying, the Michonne character. And it was really cool because it's written like it actually happened. There's even letters pages in the backs and notes from the writer where they're talking to fans and answering questions and advertising the big issue number 25 coming down the road. Dude, it was so awesome.
That's crazy.
And it actually had an incredibly small print run too.
Yeah, I think each comic shop was only allotted a certain number of them.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like based on sales of other Image titles, how many they ordered and stuff. They calculated how many to send them, and didn't cost them anything. Again, just Kirkman trying to give back to the stores.
I've not seen the new trailer. I think the Invincible show will be fun. I don't think it's really. The Invincible book already commands a good amount of money for that issue 1 before all this, and it'll get a small little hype. But it's just an animated show on Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime isn't exactly stouting the prestige that a show on Disney Plus or HBO Max looks like it's going to be commanding. Netflix doesn't even command the huge stuff. They do a lot of shows and a lot of movies that come from graphic novels or come from comic books,
and they just drop
Old
them.
Guard. Yeah, they just
I see zero ads. You just log into Netflix and it's just oh, you might like this new show. It's okay, cool.
There's a huge amount of people that would watch an Invincible show if it was live action, that would go to see it in theaters, but you lose a lot of people automatically with animation. You don't lose me by any means, but you're just restricting your market.
Yeah.
What I will say is, I hate previews. I hate solicits. I hate trailers. They just ruin everything, because I have never read a single issue of Invincible. I have not seen any of the trailers for this show. I've seen one microsecond of a clip somewhere where somebody slams him up against a locker or something. That's literally all I know about Invincible.
Story,
and I'm excited for it. I'm excited.
Man. You already know what happens.
Yeah, now, that's how. Yeah, no point watching it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, I'm gonna bounce. I love you all. I appreciate you having me on, Mark.
All right, Justin, you have a great night, brother.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I got to get out of here soon, but yeah, I'm excited for Invincible, and I think that's something I know these companies can't just stop advertising, to push their stuff, but I wish there was a way they could lean on that more, because I have just as much excitement for these people that know everything about Invincible, but I don't know anything about it. And I'm more excited because I don't know anything. How is it going to melt my face whenever I have no expectation,
Yeah. We'll see. I don't have too high of hopes for it. I read the first probably 6-7 issues back when I worked at my LCS, and I don't even remember what they were about. Just the first trade. But I read so much stuff then when you're standing in there, when you're not busy and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was good stuff. We are hitting the hour mark and want to try to keep it reasonable tonight, not just ramble on all night long. My son's still up, so I'm going to go, I don't know, drop an elbow on him or something, calm him down. Go crawl into a Batmobile in the fetal position with him for a little bit.
The one thing I can say about Invincible, the following that comic book has, the people that love that book, they are hardcore for that book.
They're some diehard fans, that's for sure.
They have 1 to 100, and they're working on the full CGC set. And I know the back issues right now are really heating up. prior to the show coming out. I guess it's coming out in the next month and a half.
I
I'm
thought
not
like
quite
March
sure.
or something.
Tyler,
Right.
when does the show come out?
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen any previews. I don't know what the date is.
And like I know that comic book shop day had a foil version of it there last month or the month before last, late last year. And I flipped through it. I thought it was okay, but I haven't read any other of the titles. And like I said, I know that the back issues are really heating up, especially like issue 3 to issue 10, or it's really starting to climb on the back issue spec lot. And obviously issue 1 and then 9-8 or whatever has gone through the roof. But again, that following that the people that love that comic book, it's it's incredibly hardcore.
Now, I do think it was cool that they were kind enough to burn one of their local comic shop day options with just reprinting Invincible #1 instead of giving us something new. That was nice of them.
Very true.
They could have chose to hype up a new series or something, but they just reprinted an 18-year-old book for us.
I think my sarcasm detector just blew up. Anyways, we did get a foil version of Something Is Killing the Children #1,
Dude,
which was only
good too.
Which was really only a few months old. So
yeah,
but yeah, and we did get that cool Spawn cover, the homage to ASM 700.
But in all of their defenses, Todd McFarlane is the only one that showed up and showed out, because none of them really. I don't think they really had new stuff to push, because Boom put out foil version variants. It was just foil versions across the board almost of existing books. But Todd dropped that awesome Spawn book where he shouted out every single comic shop that chose to participate.
How wonderful was that, though?
Dude,
yeah.
He's such an awesome guy, man. And if anyone has not watched that The Hell I Won't documentary that Sci-Fi Channel did, wow, you're just watching him in the creation of Spawn 301. Wasn't it 301? Because that was the record breaker, right? 300 was the big 300, but 301 was the actual record breaker. I think the documentary was on 300 though.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember. I thought it was 300, the road to 300 or whatever.
Yeah. But either way, it's such a great documentary, man. To watching the creative process of him, how involved he really is, even if he is not the credited writer or artist on it or whatever it was, he's still coming in, checking pages, changing layouts, making suggestions. He's awesome.
Yeah, I really liked it, but I will say I think his Blueprint episode was my favorite. I just really like how focused he is in that one. Like, just do it over and over and over and over again, and they will tell you that it will never amount to anything, and you do it over and over and over again until nobody else can do it the way you can do it, because you've done it so many times, Like,
yes.
That Blueprint episode gets me every time. Just that level of focus blows my mind.
Big shout out to the Augusta Book Exchange, my local comic shop, in the chat there, giving us the details. So we're going to get 3 episodes of Invincible when it first premieres, and then airing week to week on Fridays thereafter.
That's what's up.
I do like it when they do. Yeah, I do like it when they give us a couple episodes to start us off. That is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was mandatory with WandaVision, or I don't know. That was mandatory.
I don't know. The hype for that was so real. Like, I feel like everybody looks back at it like, oh, I don't think I would have stuck around. No, like I think everybody. The hype was so high on that. Everybody was going to watch everything. I think they could have given it to us in half episodes, and people would have ate it up.
I think everyone was just so starved for any kind of MCU content by the time that rolled out. It's like the same with Wonder Woman 84 there at Christmas time. Everyone was so starved for DC, like a new DC movie. And then finally when it rolled out, well, we got Wonder Woman 84. But yes, I think the hype was real. But personally, I'm enjoying it, but I'm kind of waiting for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah. I like seeing that Baron Zemo was back.
Yeah. In costume too. Yeah.
With his mask. Because I know a lot of people don't care, and I've talked to numerous people like with the Daredevil show. They're like, yeah, I don't mind him not being in costume, and like, I'm like, nah, I need him in costume. That's why I'm here. I'm not here for the Charlie Cox show.
Great fight
But
scenes, though. Great fight scenes.
yeah,
Oh my god, so
absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
But
Why couldn't they do that
that
for
last episode
Iron
of WandaVision
Fist?
was cool. Iron Fist was horrible.
Oh,
I wanted to like it too. It was just didn't
I feel like
deliver.
everybody really by that point, like everything had gone so well that everybody was all on board for that being the best one.
and they had such great source material to draw from too. Like Kari Andrews, about a year and a half before they started shooting that movie, came out with a 12-issue miniseries that he wrote and drew, and it was fantastic, in my opinion, of course. And he actually changed up the character where the fist actually glowed instead of just having the flame. And they, of course, they used that, but nothing from that storyline at all. And we got what we got.
Yeah.
You know,
What
good
were
thing
your
Punisher
take?
was there. Yeah.
What was your takeaway on the last episode of WandaVision?
Myself?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ryan.
I don't know. I mean, it was cool. I'm just along for the ride on this one. Like, I don't know. I think WandaVision has been good enough that it surprised me, and I'm more interested than I thought I would be. But I'm still just kind of like, okay, like we are building a massive universe here. I mean, we're at the point where everybody is going to be a paid actor, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they manage all of this. When is Photon going to get screen time as a superhero? Are they going to put her in a major movie? Or are they going to put her in another series? Like, you know, like I love that they want to build like a full functioning universe, just like the comics. But I don't know if like the budgets and the storytelling are going to warrant that. Who's going to want to be an actor that's on payroll for like 5 minutes of screen time a year, you know, for when they need you in a background somewhere? It's going to get real interesting how they manage all of the talent they're bringing in.
That's a good point. Kind of like what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did with the first season where they featured Deathlock. Great character. They went and pulled themselves up a nice D-list character from the 70s and 80s. All right, let's have some fun with it. And he was gone a few episodes later. But yeah, for me, I kind of wish that they turned the episodes into an hour long. I get, you know, I just like kind of feel like you get right into it. Personally, everyone's kind of pointing the fingers, you know, Mephisto or whatever. I kind of think that the whole sword thing, they were kind of working on Wonder Man myself. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Simon out of this near the end, or that's what the goal was, kind of thing. And she went in and just took all of Vision back before they had the opportunity to copy him, and we get Wonder Man. But again, where do we go with that character, right? Again, it's like what Ryan said. Soon there's going to be so many egos and not enough screen time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're just gonna. I don't think they're gonna. I think that, okay, you know, like on the news, right? You have like ABC and CNN and Fox News and everything, right? Well, all these talking heads, these experts that come in, they basically give them a certain amount of money every year. They're like, we'll give you $40,000 a year, and when we need your advice, we'll call you. You set up a camera, you pop up on national TV and talk about whatever we ask you about, and then you go away, you know, and they're basically on a retainer. I feel like that's how these actors are going to be. We'll send you $1 million a year, but when we call and we need you in a background somewhere, like you're there. I think the concern with that, though, is also going to become like, how's the contract written? How responsible are these actors for how they behave and how they appear and stuff in public under a Disney contract? And are they going to want to be limited in that way? Like, is $1 million to make 5 minutes of screen time a year worth it for never being able to live my life the way I want to, you know, because paparazzi might show up or something, you know?
But the residuals are fun, though. They get to do Comic-Cons once a month whenever they want and milk that for what it's worth. You know, they're getting somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000, you know, for 8 or 9 hours worth of just work. And what's that work? You're scribbling your name, you're posing for a picture, you're being told how great you are. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I get what you're saying. If your craft is acting, you want to be able to act, right? But
yeah. And how much is it going to suck when a passion project comes along and they're like, oh, but you were supposed to be in this background scene of Captain Marvel 26, you know?
I was honestly hoping that, you know, like Brie Larson doesn't have the best reaction with the fans, with the overall take on
and
her.
She tries so hard. It is so.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever reason.
You know her heart is in it 100% too.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
whatever reason it is, doesn't matter.
It's so
Like she's
cringy to
just
watch.
yeah, it's just not necessarily well received. Well, it looks like we're on the slow, inevitable road of replacing her. You don't need to find where to put Photon. The franchise already
Oh
exists in
wow,
the MCU.
wow.
I don't know. That's a big power play there, though.
Is it though? Like, really think about it.
Do you
It
really
makes
think?
a
Do you
lot
really
of
think Marvel
sense.
wants to give up on an Oscar winner that quick, though? Only after just a handful of appearances and one movie? Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
my thing is, I do not like her. I wish they would do something about that problem. I just don't know. Like it feels like Disney's real committed to her, and as cringy as it is to watch, she's always trying to do something to get some kind of nerd cred, and she's so cringy at it.
Yeah. I
Hey,
remember
Peter
when.
Parker.
Right. Yeah. Oof. But remember, the second Thor movie wasn't received well either, and then they changed the character up altogether with the
But
third
no
one.
one was complaining about Chris Hemsworth.
You're right. You're right.
Soccer moms around the world unite when it comes to Chris Hemsworth and Jason Momoa.
Brie Larson's a fine-looking girl. Like, come on. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. How much of that is the source, like her script? Is it actually her ability to act?
I
Like they
think
would have
it's
won
the
me
way she
over.
acts outside of the role too. The way that like I saw like a lot of people complain like, and I don't have any negative things to say about her outside of the movies, but I know a lot of people were complaining
I
about how
loved
she
her in
handled
Kong
herself on
Skull
talk
Island.
shows. And yeah, she was good as the photographer. You know, she
Yeah,
handled herself well in that situation. But
yeah.
I don't know, as Captain Marvel
I
just doesn't
just
seem like it just caught traction.
no. I didn't. And it could be writing, it could be directing. I don't know. But for me, like the way Captain Marvel, like she's always awful and uncomfortable, and that worked for me. But then at the end of that movie, she finally gets some answers. She finally starts to understand things, and they're like, "Go destroy all this stuff," and she still has like her resting bitch face on. I'm like, no, the end of this movie, she should have like let go and been excited, just woo, just destroy some stuff, have some fun, set off some fireworks, and she didn't. And I was just like, this whole character just feels wooden and unexcited to be doing this.
Maybe they're saving that for Nova.
I mean, why make us wait for it? You know, it ruined our impression of the character. You know,
Yeah.
we can only hope.
They
though.
started out ruining the impression of the character, in my opinion, with the way that they handled Marvel. Again, one of the most iconic characters and the only character whose death and life has actually bared meaning in Marvel comics on that kind of level. And they like, we don't need to get into that. We'll replace him with Annette Bening. We'll pretend like it's a nobody, just a little scientist. Flashback, and needs the Remy Q treatment. Flashback, fighter jacket, you're done. You know, like nothing like that. That crushed me. Like I have Marvel action figures from when I was a kid. I got like so many of his awesome books. Like he's just such a great character. Like he is so iconic until the MCU. And now you have so many people that find their way to comics through these movies and these shows that this is their introduction and they'll never experience that or never do. They literally destroyed a man's legacy who literally has a son named Legacy. That's crazy.
You've been waiting to use that one for a while, haven't you? That's pretty good.
Just came to my head.
That's pretty good. We should write that down.
That is nuts.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do want to point something out because me and Chris had kind of briefly mentioned it before we got on here in the chats, and Hefe mentioned it in the comments. And Ryan, I know
Oh,
your thoughts
yeah.
on this. You weren't here last week, Chris. Go ahead, let us know what you're thinking.
Oh, sweet Jesus, thank God.
Yes,
Like it's like
yes.
thank God. Like
Where were you last week?
I grew up a Marvel fan, and like it's no big secret. Like my favorite characters growing up were Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four. But as a young child, I was born in 74, 78, 79, we got introduced to the man that could fly. So I've always had a soft spot for Superman. And I enjoyed the Brandon Routh Superman Returns for what it was worth.
Absolutely.
Good actor, bad script, some fantastic scenes in there as well. He did what he could. And then they cast Henry Cavill. My God, did they hit a home run there? And then
It's Chris Reeves incarnate, dude.
Right, and he's built like a brick, you know what? And personally, I enjoy Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. And I really liked the fact that Warner seemed to be letting Snyder do what he wanted, and I thought it was refreshing. And then his daughter passed away, and then Joss Whedon showed up, and then we got the travesty known as what it was. And then I slowly started hearing things like everyone else. Oh, there's a finished product. That's not what it's supposed to be. And to see the groundswell and, people who really weren't vested in comic books wanting to know what is out there and start throwing the hashtag up there. And it was something special to witness. And now that we have that trailer that we just got, where it's truly Snyder from start to finish, starting off with Superman doing that death yell and seeing the sonic wave of the no or the owl, whatever it was, just traveling through that city. It had me hooked right away. Never mind the final scene with the Joker. I thought it was just glorious from start to finish. I can't wait to see it. I almost think it's a travesty that we have to go through 4 separate episodes instead of just one sitting where I can watch it 4 times.
They changed it back to one sitting.
For real? Oh, I haven't heard that.
Sitting.
My big thing is where I am here in Canada, there is no HBO Max. Now, we do have an HBO channel, so I'm kind of hoping it's going to be released that way or on some sort of other platform. Like when Wonder Woman was released, like I said, there's no HBO Max here, so we had to find whatever different platform was hosting it and buying it that way. So I'm probably going to be scrambling myself. So
when this is over, me and Ryan are going to tell you about VPNs.
Okay. And like I said, if I can't watch it, if it's delayed a week in Canada before I have a chance to see it, you guys are going to see me for a week.
Yes, be out of 5,000.
I'm going to shut down everything. I don't want any spoilers. I kind of get an idea that the ending of Justice League wasn't that far off from what is going to happen in this one, but I don't want any spoilers whatsoever, especially the fact that we're going to get multiple scenes of Darkseid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that what we're about to see for the first time is been like the biggest crutch of Zack Snyder's, like a self-imposed crutch. Like we've seen it happen with Sucker Punch, with Watchman, and with Superman versus Batman, where just like Tynan, he doesn't work inside his parameters. He honest to God is a visionary director, but here's your vision, work in here, and he works beyond it. And then the studio that's worried about things like movie length because of average viewers, attention span, stuff like that, it gets chopped up. Like it happens so often. And there's a huge, huge, huge difference in the ultimate cut of Batman vs. Superman and the theatrical cut. It's like an absolutely different movie with how clean of a flow of a story it is. No choppy editing, none of that. And the Watchmen happened the exact same way. Even though the theatrical product was good, the ultimate cut is great. It is, couldn't find any truer to source material movie to comic out there. That's really it. That's the example that you can use for it. But this after $70 million and all this extra work, they said, make your movie. And he said, okay. And he brings us 4 hours of movie.
But
I couldn't be more happy. Unless he gave us 6, that's the only way I'd be more happy.
They're going to wash their hands of them entirely once this is done, sadly.
It depends.
God willing, you're right.
You got to keep in mind, if you look at this ad, this is an HBO Max original. This is HBO money invested in this too. So this isn't something that Warner Brothers had to say, we'll take $70 million of our dollars and give it back to this person who has not delivered the money for us. HBO said, we'll give you $70 million because we think you can deliver the viewers for us. And that's all he has to do. And he's already done it. Have you seen their numbers? It is insane. They're doing gangbusters with all this stuff coming out. And look at Ryan. He's like, God, he's going to let us down.
Come on, man.
I'm more excited for the
great.
Twitter storm
was
that's going to happen after it than the movie itself.
I'm so pumped.
I look at his track record. I do not see an issue with time. There's an issue with his storytelling. I think he's a visionary photographer that has put director on his name tag. I think he knows how to frame a shot. He knows how to make it look beautiful. I think he knows how to tell a story within a frame. Like, the man knows photography, but he doesn't know how to tell a story across multiple pictures. And it's a lot more flash than substance. I think all of his storylines and characterizations are going to be complete, but I don't think they're going to be any more substantial than they already were.
Do you think that 300 told a story?
300 was good, but it was a very action-heavy story.
Do you think that Watchmen told a story?
Not the end of it. I don't like
do you think that
the changes he made to it.
What massive changes did he make to it other than the delivery of the tragedy that happened at the end? A bomb versus a squid. Same effect.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel... I don't know. He took and storyboarded Watchmen, and his changes didn't feel necessary. I don't really understand why change it. If you're going to stick that close to everything, page for page, why change one thing?
But changing that, arguably, did changing that take away the element of a story being told in that movie? The story that was meant to be told, the story of Watchmen as told in the book, in my opinion, he pretty much conveyed the exact same story that was being told.
Yeah,
So
I don't think he changed the message. I think he
story,
changed the way that it impacted.
I get it. You're a squid guy. I get it.
And for some people, I mean, Watchmen is arguably probably his most divisive film. There does seem to be a 50-50 group on who does and doesn't like the way he handled Watchmen.
Now, and I don't know if you've seen.
I thought Dawn of the Dead was amazing, but
yes.
So when it comes to Man of Steel, which, dude, I would go up to bat and say that is a near flawless film. Like, it is so good.
I think it's one of his better projects.
When you take Man of Steel, put it with Batman vs Superman, what you have is the start of a bigger story. Like he's not, when he was making Batman vs Superman, in no way was he focusing solely on that as much as just a chapter in something. And I know you have not watched the Ultimate Cut because you were so displeased with what you saw. But,
oh yeah, I fell asleep all like 6 times I've tried to watch Batman versus Superman.
Oh, savage!
Yeah, but if you
it's so
like
boring.
This
it looks beautiful. All the shots look beautiful, but
I'm so invested in these characters, though. I know I'm a little bit biased, but dude, and I've mentioned.
I don't like
before,
Sucker Punch. I think that movie had none of the substance that it needed to be something worth watching.
It was really, really fun. It was so fun, though.
Yeah, I didn't find it fun.
Dude, like you get like a Dungeons and Dragon-esque action scene. You get a futuristic sci-fi action scene. This whole mixed era war action scene. It was just...
Oh, yeah, the concept is amazing. And again, visually, it looks appealing. But as a movie, it just doesn't work for me. It feels like The Matrix 2. Like, oh, man, there's some awesome scenes I'll flip through and watch real quick, but I'm not going to sit through that whole boring movie. I did it once.
Wow.
Now, Ryan, you're admittedly a tough critic.
when you tell me that you like something, I'm gonna go watch it.
Oh, dude, that's how I stumble upon stuff, is watching.
Okay.
I
have to go pick up that book.
Like, his channel has definitely evolved and fine tuned, and at a point he was doing just a top 3 pick of what's coming out, and it was stuff that he would just kind of look at, and it was all new stuff for the most part. He's like, I think I want to give this a try. This concept sounds cool as that, and I'm like, I'm going to do that. And dude, like, swinging a hit on most all of it. The only stuff that I can't really account for is the stuff that I didn't pick up. But the stuff that I like, I just followed his recommendation and checked out. I'm like, Jesus, that was good.
But to touch on the Watchmen a little bit there, for me, reading that series when it came out in the 80s, I fell in love with Rorschach. And when I saw that Snyder was going to be making that film, I just wanted him to deliver Rorschach the way that he was supposed to be delivered. And he hit it on all cylinders. And so there could have been anything else that he had done. Anything else he had done with that movie, I would have been like, I'll roll with it. But I thought he delivered every way. And especially the performance that was it Jackie Earle Haley? Is that the actor's name that delivered
Jackie
with Rorschach?
Earle Haley, yes.
Yep, just fantastic. I thought the character carried most of the movie when it came
Dude,
to
it
the
was
action scenes.
perfect casting across the
Yeah.
board.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was really nervous about that movie too. And but yeah, I thought it was nothing short of a masterpiece when it came to comic book movies. And of
I mean,
course, 300
I
was
agree
lots
on
of
the
fun.
point that
Billy.
I agree on the point that like I think all of the elements of a Zack Snyder film are great. I think he understands how to bring quality to every element. Just a lot of his movies, the whole package doesn't sync up for some reason for me. And I know some people they're diehard, they love Zack Snyder. I really did. And then I feel like Batman versus Superman, between mishandling all of the promotion and everything with that, and then the product that we got in the theater, that was the movie that just kind of turned me. And I was like, yeah, looking back, I don't
You
know.
got
A
to
lot
give
of
that
his movies
director's
just
cut an
don't deliver.
opportunity. Yeah.
Bro,
But let me ask you
have
this,
to
Ryan.
if I ever ask you anything, do me one favor. Go make a giant pot of coffee as an insurance measure. Get at least halfway through your second cup and fire up the ultimate cut before Justice League comes out, Ryan. You have to.
Is it on
You know,
HBO?
what? Yes.
It was
the
released
ultimate
there,
cut
yeah.
is
The
all
ultimate
that
cut?
is all that they put on there. They do
Okay.
not put the theatrical cut on there. Only the ultimate cut. Because they're playing into Zack Snyder's actual vision. And it is not like this isn't a movie with deleted scenes added back in. That's not what this is.
Oh no, yeah.
It's like 40 minutes longer of all the odd missing story you're complaining about, which you're complaining rightfully so. I came out of it loving the fight system. And I'm like, dude, it was so choppy. But there's like every little thing that bridges the feud between Superman and Batman is not present in the theatrical cut. You don't see all the stuff that Lex has done with all these individual civilians that is fueling both of their anger, all the murders that take place, everything. It is all taken out of it. Like the opening scene alone is like probably 10 minutes longer when they're in the desert and Lois and Jimmy Olsen are there. And you see a whole nother like Delta Force squad trying to get in there and save them before Superman even gets there. Like it is an absolutely different movie context and story-wise. Like all of Lex's little twerks and twicks, they all make sense when you see what he's been doing to get to those moments where he's boasting in front of Superman and this and that. It is completely different.
Yeah, I understand.
Ryan, what did you think of the end of Man of Steel?
Oh, whenever he snaps Zod's neck.
Zod's neck, yeah.
I didn't have an issue with it. That to me, I think that actually makes it kind of interesting to build Superman into the monolith he becomes, because what you're seeing is Superman be Superman for the first time, and he's going up against like the most powerful thing he possibly could, you know? And so to me, that was an interesting way to push the character to his limit and break him from the very beginning. And now we can build Superman into the creature he becomes, you know, into the icon that he becomes.
For me, I struggled with that scene for a while. I had to watch the movie a couple times, just because, like I said, I grew up with the Reeves Superman, and then got a taste of the Rouse Superman, the big blue Boy Scout. Essentially, is what they portrayed. So Henry Cavill, through Zack Snyder, gave us this different take. So when he snapped his neck, I was ready to walk out of the theater. I'm like, nope, this is not my Superman. No. But when I go back and watch it and realize what he's going up against, and that he's realizing that he's going to be the protector of the world, and everything that both of his fathers have been preaching at him, that you need to take care of this world. This is your king of the world. This is yours. It's all for you, and everyone's going to rise to you. Him snapping the neck, he had no other choice. And
dude, it was one of the most heartbreaking moments they could have possibly delivered, and he started out of the gate with that. Like, you put this man, and Zod said it like 3 times during the fight, this ends with either you dead or me. And he's literally sitting there holding his neck with those. And I was the same way in the theaters. I had my daughter in my lap at a midnight premiere, my oldest daughter, and I literally screamed, "Oh, S word," like this an honest to God shock. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much it hit me as well. But watching it again, and when you're seeing that happen, like, you're literally hurting for him because he is pleading with everything he has in him to please stop. And Zod's words exactly were never. He literally had no other choice, and he's never been in this level of fight. And you've never really seen that exact situation playing out in comics or anything. And Zach is really finding these little areas that have not been explored. Even though they're so minute, they pack so much weight to it. And seeing him start like that and how broken he was, like that was just like this weird motivational point, like you said, to really grow into his character. But this is also Snyder's DC, and a lot of it is kind of geared toward like that Dark Knight, Frank Miller style stuff, where these are a lot rougher around the edges, anyways.
Well, I think
that was a heartbreaking scene.
One of the more interesting aspects to Superman to me is the fact that he's invincible, and he's infinitely powerful. So to know that anything that shows up is not a problem for him, he could always just power up some more and take care of it, whatever it is, like there's nothing that can stop the guy. So to know that in Snyder's universe, we've seen him go to a point that he's afraid to reach again. And I think that makes it more interesting, because when somebody comes to Earth, he could easily take out the threat, but there's a good chance that going to that level, taking it and escalating it to that level, is going to destroy the Earth and all the people that he loves and that he wants to be a part of. So knowing in Snyder's universe that he has went to the point that he would never want to go to again, that he always lives with the fear of letting go too much, I think that makes him a more interesting Superman.
Absolutely. And that's been kind of explored in books. And I think you're in that chat group where someone slighted Superman as a character, and I kind of went off on stuff, and I kind of kept going back to the point that all of these people complaining do not read Superman books. All of these grievances you have are addressed in Superman books. You're wanting them to explore Clark Kent more. Bendis actually went heavy on Clark Kent as far as even revealing his identity to the world, but the people kept complaining, and they're not even reading the books. So a lot of people are putting it out there, but again, it's one of those long-standing character things. Captain America suffers from the same fatigue of people just not caring about Boy Scouts right now, or there's that, but they're not played as Boy Scouts right now. That's just the stereotypes associated with them. Read the books, or just sit on the sideline and just listen to the dialogue from the people that do read the books. And if you decide you want to try it. But slandering and trashing books you're not reading is so counterproductive to the industry itself. And that's not limited to Superman, but anything. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, I hear all these complaints. I'm like, dude, you're complaining that he's so overpowered. The finale to Bendis's run, the whole Sinmar arc, his powers were useless. He had them, and they meant nil. That's how they ended it. Like, even like the whole overpowered thing. He's always feared punching too hard. He always pulls his punches. And even him being OP, he fought Doomsday in the Snyderverse. He couldn't even beat him on sheer strength alone. He couldn't power up enough. He faces these things all the time, but people want to pretend like he doesn't. And he's one of the most conflicted characters in all of comic books. It's absolutely crazy. One of the most deep characters. I just wish more people would take the time to check it out. The Superman World's at War. This is a spoiler-filled show, but I'm not going to do it to you. I'm not going to do it to you. Dude, just wait till
there's also a question of writers on Superman lately,
I was just going to say they need a big-name, sexy writer to handle them for,
somebody that wants to dig into
6 to 12 issues, and just let's see what happens. But yeah.
Dude,
until they get a superstar sexy
stuff coming.
Yeah.
Got some good stuff coming. And then not just that, but we're getting a secondary, the Superman Red and Blue series that's coming out with Infinite Frontier. Oh my God. And Bermejo is about to be taking over variants on Superman. What? What?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited, and I hope to God that people just get past their grievances or step out of just the hype train of whatever circle they run in, or like the overall general audience thing, and try some other stuff. You don't realize it, but there's great stories everywhere. And unless you've spent time on these characters, I'm not talking about read a few issues and then it gets a little weak in your opinion, so you jump off. Follow a character. Follow them. Like, follow the character, not the story arc. And man, some great stuff happens when you start hitting a certain time length and these little nuances that writers call back to from years and years ago. And dude, it just hits a whole nother level of depth where you get an appreciation and you look beyond the surface level. And Superman's one of my favorite characters, easily. And I used to hate him as a kid. I loved him growing up, and then I hit this weird point where I was like grudged against him. Like I think it was because just my natural rebellious time era. I saw he was the Boy Scout, and I was I still love Captain Marvel, not Shazam. He's Captain Marvel to me. But when Kingdom Come came out, I read that in 3rd grade, and watching him just go toe to toe with Superman and actually like pretty much just beat him up. I'm like, man, the big red cheese it is. I don't know if y'all ever saw the 1940s black and white serial movies that used to play before movies. They did a Captain Marvel one with Tom Taylor starring as him. It's the best one out of all the serials they did, between the Batman, the Superman, the Phantom, the Captain America, where he didn't have a shield, he had a pistol, But that Tom Taylor Captain Marvel was epic, and I don't know. That's a
I've seen
character
the Batman ones.
Degressed heavily.
I've seen those
They're
Batman
really
ones where they're like running around in daytime and stuff. So like black and white, they're just like outside.
Well, you can't
of the
film at
telephone
night
booth.
in those kind of
He looked more like a hoodlum than a superhero. Yeah.
Oh my god, they were so bad, but like so
looking
good.
around like this. For the
so
stories
bad.
are all there. Like the story content is definitely there. It's just production, and I don't know why it's so easy for me to get past production stuff. I can watch like the old Green Hornet series. It doesn't matter what year something's from. Again, I'm a Roger Corman fan, so I appreciate bad films, low budgets, and all that. If you got a decent story, it's fun.
Yeah, it depends for me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
For me, I like the old. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, I like the early 60s and mid 60s cartoons where they always had the same background happening and often the same scene. Whenever the title character was going to fight a new villain, whenever the main character rushed towards the villain, it was always the same run or whatever.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, Captain America had a cartoon at that point too.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Really raw stuff, But yeah, that's those are the ones that I liked. And then a little bit afterwards, discovered the black and white serials and that. But yeah, that I can appreciate what you're saying. That I didn't care about the production. It was just the fact that what I'm reading is actually on my TV. Wow,
you have it exactly
right,
exactly.
Yep.
So that's a level of appreciation that like my kids are never going to get the chance to have, because they're going to have this amazing multi-million-dollar production stuff of this stuff. He's growing up seeing it, like at his age, he probably thinks this is happening somewhere. Like, thank God that we won. What would have happened if
kids,
Thanos
it's like real stuff all the time.
Dude, I kid you not, when I first got my big 4K TV, the first thing I did was put Transformers The Last Night in and went straight to the end of the movie when the what were those transports called with like the 4 helicopter blades, the UVACs or something. But when they halo drop from those things and they come in and Cybertron's there in like pieces, like in 4K, you're just like, oh my God, this is overload. So I hooked that TV up, and the first thing my kid sees in 4K are Autobots and Transformers. He's sitting there like this. He's like probably 18 months at this point. He didn't know what to do. He did not move for the entire remainder of that movie. Just stood in the living room floor, just. I was afraid to let him get near the. I was afraid to let him near the car. I didn't want him to freak out.
Right.
Like, what's it gonna do? What's it gonna do?
Yep. You got a fan for life now.
Yeah. Oh man, he's all into it, and I love it. Like he goes to the LCS with me every week, and like my LCS owners know my dad since before I was even born. So now he watched me grow up, and now he's seeing Finn and Laura growing up. Like he'll throw Finn on the cart and just be pushing Finn around the store, running up and down the aisles and stuff. They have a good time. Finn will be behind the counter playing on the calculators and stuff, and customers will come in and he greets them and stuff. Hey, and they double take. Hey,
very good.
It's fun, man. But yeah, guys, it's getting late. This is 40 minutes since the last time I said this. I'm great at these long goodbyes. But
right.
Chris, what do you have coming up on your channel, man?
Again, tomorrow I'm going to be releasing a new video for something I seem to be having going for a while now. It's a Mystery Box Monday. We're going to be spotlighting Slotted Up 503's Mystery Box that came in late last week. And on Wednesday, like every Wednesday, it's Christmas every single Wednesday. You know, my new comic book day pickups. I may throw a mail call video up afterwards. And then next Sunday, you know what's up.
Absolutely. Brian.
Yeah. I had a video drop this morning, a review video of Echoes of the Triumphant. Pretty cool little book. Check out the review and maybe support those guys. They actually have a prequel book that just came out recently. And so after I read the #1 that he sent, I went back and got that. So once I read that, maybe that'll help expand the universe a little bit for me. So I'm excited to check that out. But check out the review on my channel. And then Tuesday, I'll have another books coming out this week video will be coming out on Tuesday. So
Nice. You know what's crazy is after I watched your review on that this morning, I noticed, and this was a few hours afterwards, like at 4 o'clock today, I had a message request on Instagram, and it was those guys asking me if I wanted to check out their book.
Me too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the cover for issue 1, when I saw it on your review, the way that the main character was drawn, it reminded me of Mike Mignola art a little bit. But you kind of pointed out the art kind of is a little different here and there throughout it. But I'm definitely excited to give it a look. Now I regret watching your video because I feel like it's been spoiled.
Yeah, I know, right? That's interesting, though. I think I have both of y'all's channels listed on my YouTube like homepage thing. You know? So I wonder if that's why, because I don't think they had watched my channel, just saw like my Instagram before.
Chris,
so once the video came out and they went there, they probably saw everybody that I know.
Yeah,
just like that, man. Just like that.
That's awesome. And also, let me point this out. My buddy Hefe here, if y'all want to check out his IG, and he did post up a video on YouTube unboxing one of the big time collectible mystery boxes, the Peach Momoko ones. It was amazing. He put some cool stuff up. Give him a check out, everybody. And I've got a video dropping tomorrow. I'm very excited about. It's kind of refers to some of the stuff I've talked about tonight. I guess I was kind of primed to go on that little rant about a certain iconic character I love, but I'm really excited about the video tomorrow. It was really fun for me to make. It's a topic I really enjoy talking about. And then Tuesday, I'm going to try to go live sometime during the middle of the day, whenever the children permit it, to kind of go over pickups for Tuesday and just hang out with whoever's on their lunch break. And got some key books I picked up recently, some really cool first appearance from another character that I'm really enjoying. I'm going to try to get those up as well. And of course, every Saturday I have the new comic book day video, what's in my pool box, coming up. And every Sunday, Chris and I have our hot pick video over on the Comic Vets channel. So make sure you guys check these guys out. And also go and check out Justin Comics YouTube page. He's got some great stuff on there. And I don't think there's enough DC representation out there. So I'm glad that myself and Chris is a fan, as well as Justin. So if you guys, if you're watching and you're not really big on DC, check out some of the channels to kind of get a feel of what's actually happening in the contents of these books, man. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, the best and most enjoyable part of comics is reading them and talking about these stories with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you guys for hopping on with me tonight. I've had a blast. This has been fun. And as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.